Hey everybody, it's me, Peter. So, going off the beaten path a little bit today, I want to talk about the recent acquisition of Oculus by Facebook. This is real interesting to me because growing up on the internet, I actually dealt with virtual reality quite a bit. And seeing now that Facebook, a social media company, is getting into the business of virtual reality in one form or another is very interesting for a few different reasons. And it could be potentially very telling for what direction Facebook plans on going in the future. Now, Facebook as a company does not have a very stellar reputation in terms of privacy. I think this is a fairly well-known and fairly well-accepted fact by now. It seems like whenever they update their privacy settings, it's because everybody's mad at them for it. And they never make it easy, and generally they make it so that the least private thing is the default setting when they add new privacy settings. And I think that explains a lot as to why Facebook has always been kind of hesitant to really push privacy settings, which is a little bizarre, but it makes sense because one of Facebook's biggest sources of income, I assume, is targeted ad revenue, which Veritasium actually talks about a lot, and how it actually doesn't do a whole lot in terms of advertising. Maybe I'll put a link right here. We'll see. Is there a link here? I don't know. Which is, whatever. Stupid, I say. But go with it, Facebook. Do you. But this really does not make sense in terms of virtual reality communities that already exist, which generally serve to mask a person's identity unless they choose to reveal it. The two biggest examples that come to mind are Second Life, which, if you haven't heard of, is an online community created by Linden Labs that makes quite a bit of money, and the old one that I grew up on that was called Cybertown. And if you don't know what Cybertown is, Google it, or just wait until I make my video on the internet when I talk about it and just blow your mind. So the thing about these two virtual reality communities that exist, or well, one that exists and one that no longer exists, is that privacy is the default. And so the idea that Facebook would buy a technology that has this kind of potential to protect one's privacy seems fairly un-Facebookly, if that's a word. We're going to say it's a word. So why would they do it? Well, just bouncing a few ideas around in my head, what comes to mind first is the general consensus, is that Facebook's popularity is waning, especially with the development of apps like Snapchat and Vine and Glide, and all of these different things where you have a little bit more say and a little bit more ability to hide who you are unless you don't want to, and where your online footprint is not so big. Is this to say that Facebook has suddenly developed a new interest in protecting your identity? Probably not. I think what's more likely is that in the face of declining numbers, or potentially declining numbers, I don't actually know if they are or not, Facebook feels like it needs to get innovative. And with companies like Sony and Oculus itself coming out with these strong virtual reality clients, the pressure's on to look unique and innovative. But I'm not sure, personally, where exactly Facebook is going to go with having this technology. For example, if their goal is to make money off of it, that could make sense. I know Facebook makes a lot of money off of in-game cash sales for different things like Farmville and Mafia Wars, if Mafia Wars is still a thing, I don't know, where people use real currency to buy digital currency. And in fact, this is how a lot of different companies make money. Steam comes to mind, Blizzard, Facebook, Zynga, etc., etc., etc. So if Facebook is trying to stay profitable, this might be a good way for them to get started. But another possibility is that somebody at Facebook discovered Second Life and has thought that, maybe this whole virtual reality thing might be the future of social media. It certainly is the past of social media. If I am correct, I believe Cybertown existed way before MySpace. Cybertown being that virtual reality thing that I was in when I was a wee child. Again, more on that later. Different video, that is. Cybertown existed back in 1998, and it was a very handy place to go and meet people. And it was really fun because you could hide your identity, and if you were a child, you didn't have to worry about some creepy predator having a picture of you or whatever. I don't know. So it could be that maybe Facebook has decided that they want to expand into the virtual reality sector of social media, which would potentially make them cutting edge. But I don't know. Either way, it seems to me like a lot of people are really unhappy with this purchase by Facebook of Oculus, which makes sense because nobody really likes the big guy, if that makes sense. Like, Oculus started out as this thing on a crowdsourcing, on a crowdfunding webpage, and people threw their money into it to help it come up because they thought, what a cool idea. And now the idea that this thing that they all invested in has been purchased by the man, I would feel jilted if I donated money, but I didn't. So ha. Sorry, that was weird and maybe uncalled for. Either way, it's going to be really interesting to see where Facebook goes with this. And I don't know, maybe this will be what spurs me into getting back into doing virtual reality stuff. Only time will tell. Alright guys, it's been fun and kind of exciting talking about what's going on in the world right now, so maybe I'll do this more often, but maybe not. So what do you guys think? Is there anybody out there that has a little bit of experience with virtual reality? Do we have any Second Lifers here? Let me know in the comments below, or shoot me up, hit me up on Twitter or whatever. Don't shoot me up. God, please don't shoot me up. But hit me up on Twitter or Tumblr or whatever, and let me know what you think might have prompted this and what direction you think Facebook may go. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Stay classy, take care, and don't forget to gesture emphatically. Okay, bye.